Welcome back. Yes, we're here to cover the Twin Flame Collective Energy Update, as well as if you do want the next edition, they are out in the members. If you want to see what's going on with all the editions that we release, I do have the schedule that's gone up and going up, and we are going to have 2 sessions a month within our YouTube membership super chats. We did have 3 this month, and that is because we are moving into eclipse energy as of April, as well as we do have a bonus that is coming up tomorrow. So if you do want one to the public, we do have a super chat coming up. If you go to the video, the super chat will be hosted open to the public, so don't forget to subscribe. Separately, we will be looking at the joint connection and the energy and the astrology and the ascension, anything else we need to look at. How are we doing? I'm kind of lopsided on the screen. If I move the streaming technology, it kind of bumps out the microphone. So I'm going to, edit the studio a little bit so you're not getting my cabinet to the very right of me. And we're going to select a ruin cast for this energy update and see what's coming through. For those of you in the chat, better turn the chat on or I won't see what anyone's saying. Hello. Yes, it's a little bit earlier than usual, but I've been trying to prepare because we're in that shadow energy at the moment, and I already had a Mercury retrograde issue happening. It was like perfect timing, Mercury retrograde on its way. And a lot of aspects that are moving are very much Piscean energy as well as Aries. So this eclipse is set to be one of the intense ones of the year. And that doesn't mean to say the show's over. It's definitely going to be one of those energetic years. We are in a transitional field. I did go through down the rabbit hole. I always tend to feel we pick up the next month's energy well and truly the month before. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you, especially in your twin flame path and your own personal journeys, you could directly be noticing some synchronistic changes, some key things. We definitely, more than likely, are going to be noticing changes with animals and the way they're behaving. We could be looking at pets, especially with the energy of Pisces. And, you may notice it. It's quite common and be very aware of your surroundings. Definitely seeing some interesting things come up in the media. And more than likely, as we do get closer to that eclipse, the predictive energies I have put up in a blog post, you can take a look at them. They are within YouTube as well as on my website. If you want to take a look in the community tab, and you can have a look. So we're going to look for this ruin cast. I'm going to pull some cards. I'll have a chat to those of you that want to pop up and say hello. If you're new, a very warm welcome. We are going to be having some changes here, especially because these eclipses do directly impact my zodiac sign quite a bit. You also personally are going to be going through it. A, connected to your twin flame path as well. B, connected to your own lives of wherever Aries is really popping up in Libra in your chart at this point in time. So don't be surprised if you're getting the intuitive downloads. Did do a bit of coaching within our YouTube members, and some of them were saying, look, I really feel I need to rest right now, which is okay, because Pisces is going to make you tired. We've got some solar flares coming in as well, which has been causing that fatigue. So it's really great for you to be trying to keep as hydrated as possible, especially with electrolytes, but always follow your practitioner's advice. The other thing that can be happening is you are feeling this Mars energy anticipation, and you can be a little bit more defiant than usual, a little bit more vocal if you're aware of the energy and frequency of how it can be playing it. You probably can navigate that circumstance with self-awareness a lot better. I have found a few spiritual tests coming up, and I've actually been so far surprised. I am human. We do make mistakes, so far, so good. Biting the tongue, trying to be in that awareness, so I'm not, shooting my foot off, so to speak, metaphorically. Have any of you been experiencing that? Okay, so the ruin cast we have, it's in the upright. Well, I'll be. Shoot. That's a first. We haven't had that for a while. I'll place this to the side, and we will shuffle the deck and see what is coming up for the spiritual connection. I don't know if the chart's working. We are in Mercury retrograde energy, so goes retrograde as of the 1st, but like I said, I'm already having issues with that. Honest. And as much as you can be organized, be organized. The other thing I would really suggest, recommend is, if you are having some downloads to do with these things, say if you were to launch a new business or a new project, Mars gives you vitality. Mercury retrograde and a Mars energy, probably not. So it could feel that things are really going to be coming at you. So this can be a time that you're going to have to practice patience. You may need to drive slower. You may need to speak. You could be having a lot of downloads. If you do have some great ideas or revelations or going through a purgatory experience, journaling can be one great way. You'll probably break a few pencils or pens because you are going to feel like you're in a hurry and you're overwhelmed. Try to also practice breathing. Breathing can really help control some of those stress levels that we all spiritually may be going through. Is it okay to make decisions? It is, but I would definitely look at this Aries eclipse in the long term. So if you think about Mars, it gives you energy. Those of you that do understand astrology, when Mars is retrograde, you've got no energy. So that's happening towards the end of the year. So the heavy lifting, so to speak, we tend to try and get done during the year. Mars also is quite significantly linked to divine masculine's energy. So real big transformations already in volume 2 that is out in the members. I am seeing quite a significant shift. If you do want to see those individual reads, you can come through and join our YouTube membership. But quite profound. I was actually quite shocked, especially being psychic. I was like, wow, well, that's good to see. They probably don't feel it at the time, but definitely it's going to be shifting them. Okay, let's get the crowning energy for the joint connection place and where the energy stands. Can't wait to read that ruin cast. About right. I read a few words. Astrology, moon. Element, water, Pisces. So it is directly corresponding to the astrology of the month and what's coming through. And the current eclipse energy. Yes, okay. What is the current energy coming through in the joint connection place? And the wind's picking up. What's the weather like wherever you are? Have you guys been experiencing some funky weather? I did put my predictions up of locations to be wary of, where some things can be changing. You literally could write essay version updates, but real life happens, so we have to be honest with those things and just try and get the information out as soon as possible. Okay, show me divine masculine's energy and what is going on with them in their current life and viewpoint towards divine feminine place. I feel a bit tense. Oh. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate it. Have you been looking after yourself? It's still too hot for autumn. Yeah, well, Mars is there, so I'm not surprised. Theoretically, we can be getting water because of the Pisces placements. We're moving into, change of season here in WA. And I had a jacket on earlier and I've taken it off because of the humidity. It's like, yeah. Okay, divine feminine. We don't need to ask how you're feeling about the situation unless you're a divine masculine cross-watcher. Do we have, would you be a divine masculine cross-watcher and put your hand up? Poor things. I wouldn't. I would just sit back and watch. Unless, of course, you know directly who you are, and then I wouldn't care what anyone's thinking. Because we're all individual on our own individual path. Okay, heart of the situation. Oh, God. Feminine's heart of the situation. Joint connection. Heart of the situation. Oh, cycles. Okay. Both of you are energetically feeling quite tired. There is almost a problem that you spiritually and the joint connection are trying to work through. This can be because we're going through a transition, and it's almost psychically I'm picking up on that. I'll read the ruin cast from the book. Okay, what does it say? I swear, did you ever do this morning, Swope? Did you ever do this at school? Kind of bend the book back? And your parent always told you, don't do that. You're going to rip the binding. I think the book's going to go. Anywho, okay. Correspondence. The tree, willow, herb, leek, bird, duck. I have been seeing so many bird totems at the moment, down to chickens, down to, how many other birds? Swans, storks. Stork not necessarily is a good or a bad omen, but it can link to, war. We are in that Mars energy. Animal, seal, astrology, moon, and we are heading into eclipse, so I'm not surprised, as I mentioned. And the mirror cast is in the upright, so let's hope that's good. Element, water. So, means body of water, sea, or ocean, and the root of modern English word lake. Definitely when it does come to water, they are the emotions, okay? Subconscious mind. Okay, mundane, journey across water, imagination, intuition, artistic creativity, and fluidity. Esoteric meaning, soul journey, psychic powers, initiator of dreams. A lot of you at this point in time with the transits, and especially within your ascension process, you are going to be picking up on things a lot more psychically, especially moving into eclipses. You shouldn't really do any rituals as per se on the day of the eclipse. As much as some of us would love to go and run and hide under a rock, try to be present, be in awareness, do any clearing you're going to do. I have started looking at karmic cord cuttings. That's one thing spiritually I'm doing, being a twin flame, as well as a psychic medium. So I have been doing that. And anything where you feel spiritually you have blockage, be it it's a person, place, or thing, doing that clearing, doing that healing, trying to get yourself anchored in and prepared for this eclipse. And then we directly will also look at the energy that I feel psychically coming in. But this definitely can be a time where your intuition, there's a difference between intuition and paranoia. Sometimes with these trigger points, because we have Aries in Chiron, we can start getting a bit paranoid. We can become a bit defensive through the month of April with these eclipses, especially as Mercury moves retrograde as of the 1st. There can be some cross wires in those placements in your chart, but generally speaking, we are trying to balance the both. So when we have Aries and Libra eclipses, we are balancing our relationships and our place of self, and it's kind of a juggling act spiritually. All of you in your ascension path, sometimes you're going to feel guilty. I should really be focusing on my love life. And then other times it's going to be you feeling guilty. Oh, heck, I've got to go over here and do this. So it is almost feeling spiritually like Penny Little, the sky's falling down. You're trying to manage all these things. You're going to feel like you're on hyperdrive. There is a risk of burning out. And there is a risk of making mistakes. So pause before speaking if possible. Pause before reacting. Be in that self-awareness. Move into the spiritual groups. Wherever you find something is really spiritually fitting for you so that you directly can get that support you need. If it's a venting situation, I know that with Discord, we have both the public and we also have the private chats. And so, if individuals are needing to, they directly can do that purgatory experience, chatting directly with me, and they can get those things off their chest and we can go through the rabbit hole and, dig to the root cause of those things. Okay, this can be a challenging ruin, indicating a strong test of resolve with no quick solution. It does indicate that you are possessive of a worthy vessel, so keep your nerve, set a good course, and all should be well. On an esoteric level, the casting of this ruin cast can indicate that the quadrant is about to experience a great journey of the soul, which makes complete sense because Mars is in action with this situation. This may involve the emergence into darkness of the deep waters, especially with Pisces. It's quite psychological. Plain Pain and struggles may precede the soul re-emerging into the light. Reversed, which it's not, so we don't need to worry about it. So I feel there's a nervousness. I feel there's an apprehension, especially pulling this ruin cast. Some of you will be further ahead in the journey and you'll be more equipped to deal with these frequencies with the eclipses. Again, I do mention if you need the spiritual support, it is here for you should you need it. If you're needing to rest and you're feeling apprehensive, definitely within your twin flame path, do so. Ask your guides to come in. Try to learn to trust the process with transitions. This is quite a big one, and it can be the things that we see also in the collective can trigger us. Okay, so there has been to date for some of you, and even those of us that are in union, there can be cycles that we, as energies within the twin flame path, we've been moving through these portals, we've been moving through these adversities, and there has been some roadblocks. And although some of us could be wondering, hey, are we moving out of that? It can be, in fact, especially to do with karmic cycles, that these are the trigger points. You can get to a point where you're psychically getting these downloads, whatever the karmic cycle is that the individual you are spiritually connected to is going through. Can that be on either side of the fence? Yes, it can. At times, both of you are spiritually going through a major transition. At other times, it's the other individual and you're intuitively picking up on it. Okay, now butting heads is going to be possible, and in the heart of it, there is some discord. So I do feel from a communication point of view, we are going to have some communication. There can be some anxiousness in the heart chakra, that masculine and feminine feeling, especially to do with the pressure points of this connection. It's like they're wanting to be together. There's the real life pressures, there's the real life situations, and there is a new chapter that is coming through with the two of you. But you know, it could be this fear-based frequency that you're feeling the other individual doesn't have the strength to get through what they're going through. I do feel individually, yes, they do. I also feel give it time. Their process is their process, but I'm definitely seeing they're emerging out and it is going to be victorious. It may not look that way at this point in time, but what I'm seeing here is this is to do with a brand new cycle. This is to do with a shift to move both parties into correct alignment of the next chapter. And this can be happening quite abruptly. Okay, there can be some information coming through the grapevine. And again, whenever we hear the term Mercury retrograde, especially for those of you that follow twin flame path updates, those that directly cover astrology, there is a huge potential during this time that you can hear from these blasts from the past. It is going to be quite bold. More than likely, both individuals here are going to be quite assertive. So you're going to have to be quite patient with the transition. There can be some very passionate, very assertive energies. A lot of divine feminines have integrated masculine energy within them. So they have become extremely independent and they've found that source inside them. So you may be more inclined to go with the flow with this, but I do feel there can be this push-pull energy. I also feel divine feminine coming through, being quite assertive with what they're wanting and how they see things. It's not a negative thing if you find that there is conflict in the circumstance that crops up. Many times with the runner-chaser mode, we can fall into the trap of feeling, oh my gosh, this is it forever. A lot of times it is quite divinely guided. So if there is a trigger point, if there is an articulation of the wounds or whatever you need to address, it more than likely could be quite divinely guided. So try to, if you do fall into that trap and you do go down that rabbit hole, the next instant, just really psychologically say to yourself, okay, I'm going to step into this new chapter, regardless of what happened, regardless of what went down. And it's almost like you're turning a book over. You know, in a book, you're turning a page over and it's like it never happened and you're moving beyond it. And you can actually find it can really create that equilibrium again back in the connection. But try not to go into a panic state. I do feel for many, both parties here are disillusioned. Both parties are like, look, I really don't know how we're going to bring this full circle. There could be some troubles to the left. There could be some circumstances that are blocking it. Both of you are wanting to move ahead in your life. Both of you are wanting that forward momentum. There can be something, and I'm really picking this, I feel it's on divine masculine side. There can be some conflicts or karmic ties that are being chopped from the situation. And I feel it's really bogging the spiritual connection down. When we do get the Ten of Swords, though, generally speaking, it's negative, but it's positive, because it does mean it's at the precipice of change. It means it's to that point where it's no longer manageable. So whatever this individual is dealing with, there's going to be a lot of closure with this cycle. There's going to be revelations that they can't continue the path in which they've been kind of walking, dealing with in the same fashion, because it's become unbearable and unmanageable. They're going to want me to come back to that card and clarify. But again, there's a lot they want to say about this. It's almost like they're synchronistically trying to send you messages. Sometimes they feel when they're trying, especially for those of you that are in communication with this individual, sometimes they're finding they're trying to articulate what is going on, but they're feeling as though they're not quite getting the words out correctly. And they are dealing with this, and I'm noticing almost the sword near the mind, especially with Pisces involved. It's almost like it's intellectual. It's psychological, it's intellectual. It's like something that's, it's like a blockage mentally that they're dealing with, and it's almost like how to articulate it. Fatigue can be involved in this circumstance. Definitely a lot of psychic energy. It's almost like some of the energy directly can feel like it's being siphoned, so they can be going through ascension symptoms. Okay, some of you are going to hear things through the grapevine. I do directly feel, for those of you in no communication, this individual is trying to look in on you, find out where you're at, find out what's going on. Some of you can be getting information through the grapevine about this situation and something that's about to go down, where the person's at emotionally, physically. I'm hearing the term bad blood, but there's more to it than that. Divine Feminine, I almost feel you're coming in vibrationally, and it's like you're mad at yourself, but this it's like you're wanting to have a solid breakthrough. There is an element of frustration. So to a degree, you could be observing this person and thinking, well, has this person changed? What is the likelihood of this change? What is the likelihood of a karmic cycle ending? Is there a possibility, that this is going to go the way you're hoping for it to? There's a lot of faith that's been broken here in the past. Can it be repaired? Yes, it can. But I do feel once this person emotionally, I'm really seeing this as a very positive sign. Sounds crazy, but I really am. Once we get to this stage, whatever we've been doing to date, it is a karmic close, especially with the eclipse in Aries. It's a karmic close. Weeks later, this can be transitioning. The activation of such is prior to the eclipse. I really see a breakdown happening here. Something really cycling out quite profoundly. Although, funny enough, Divine Feminine is feeling that this is in the status, it's where it is, it was where it is. But what I'm seeing on their side of the fence, and I'm sure it's going to come through in their reads individually as well as within the joint connection, there is a transition here. There is a big conversation that's wanting to come through here. And it's almost like some of you might have had like a little black book, how this was going to come about. I definitely went down that rabbit hole myself. I almost tried to intellectually picture how it would be, what the conversation would have to be. Hi, sweet. And, it would almost be you want the assurity. It's like an assurity payment of some description. There's a lot of concerns that this cycle could repeat again. It's like you're desiring it, but you're weary. This also can be a lot of us, even those of us maybe in communication, with reunion, with union energy is a possibility. There could be a cycling out of an old chapter here, and that can be causing a little bit of grief, a bit of memory down, taking you down memory lane, and not necessarily in a 100% positive manner. Some of you are feeling this, this could change the direction of it. Some divine feminines might be moving into a new chapter in their life where, you know, be careful. I always say be careful what you ask for. You could want this to slow down because you kind of have you have this ideal and image of how you're going to proceed forward with this. Should this come forward, it's almost like you've formed an opinion that there's a certain way you feel it will be more successful. So there's sort of this ideal course of action you have in mind. Yeah, you want to protect yourself. So there is the spiritual protection. I do feel through this eclipse, though, it's going to transform some of those belief systems. But initially, this is where it stands moving into the eclipse. Divine masculine is thinking about home. What is home? What is a happy family? What does life look like? Being in a relationship that's deeply supportive. They could be spending a lot of time at home at the moment. They might be returning home. They could be dealing with a tribal situation going on, especially from a karmic point of view. There can be a home-based situation coming up, and there can be some conflict with family. This could be with mother energy. This could be with siblings. It could be with physical residents, but I definitely see subjects to do with home coming up. But they're definitely looking at, you know, what to do with their physical home, you know, whether to be working from home or will they be working from home? Will they be working in a location? There's something shifting around that. I do see them thinking about the future. Again, what love looks like, what connections look like, what their traditions are, what their roles are. There's a lot of pressures as well. They're almost feeling this pressure point. If they are in a karmic relationship, it almost feels they're really questioning those ethics, morals, and standards. There could be a lot of pressure points coming in. I just keep hearing some of it's going to be leaked out. So if you're in communication or you actually get gossip through the grapevine, it feels as though with the water coming down, this is a message that they're getting. For some, it could be a physical marriage. Again, I'm feeling family. I'm noticing the water coming out the gates, and it almost feels like some information is going to be leaked. They're really questioning the commitment to you. If this is a physical relationship, they're questioning the commitment. And again, they are directly looking at what a connection looks like. You know, what a solid. It's like they've got two options here. I feel one's feminine and one's a current or past tense situation they experienced. Yeah. Okay, they're kind of feeling like at times you're really psychic. They're feeling at times you intuitively can pick up on things. And they're wondering how you pick up on these things. They don't quite understand how you pick up on it. But again, some information is going to be leaked. They're also feeling that you have very good instincts when it does come to your intuition. A lot of times when they're around you, they feel they can't hide what the shadow side is. They can't. There is this deep longing for a physical transformation, even though spiritually they could be going into hermit mode to assess what that's going to be. They also feel that in that hermit mode energy, they have sought refuge in that space, but they've actually also found a lot of clarity through this process. It's helped them become wiser and more aware and more at peace. There has been some insecurities that's been cropping up. I do feel within a karmic dynamic, there's been a lot of push-pulls. I'm also feeling their feelings towards you, wanting your attention, wanting to be around you. There has been some insecurities that have been cropping up. I feel some are really wanting to start looking after their health, and it can be that they've spiraled a little bit. They also feel... Who's this about? I'm not going to presume here because they're saying pause. They're saying pull or clarify. Okay, there's some situation that's non-trustworthy here. And it's funny, I kind of get there's an individual they're dealing with, or they're feeling your observation of them is something that you're physically not trusting. It's like you don't, something's off. It's like some deception's occurring here. This could have been guilt towards it. Yeah, this is to do with something you've said. For some, this can be that they are being straight shooters with you. For some, it also can be that they're being aware that what you're requiring, they're going to have to listen to your personal needs to get through the gates. But there is a requirement for consistency. We do have the karmic in reverse here. Yeah, this individual is cutting cycles out. Whoever the individual is that they're dealing with, it's almost like there's a shifty individual here. There's an individual they're dealing with that they're just feeling something soft, but they're also they're learning to trust their instincts. I feel some divine feminines are actually, especially those of you that are in communication, communication can come through in a myriad of ways, especially because this is a spiritual path. Can it be in the 5D? Yes, prior to union, sometimes it can be in the 5D. So don't ever feel like you're behind on the path if you're not in physical communication. A lot of times prior to reunion and recommunication, you will literally feel their energy everywhere. And you could second guess it. You could get the signs and synchronicities, and then they can come in. So when I'm referencing this, from what I'm getting psychically, I try to touch every base. Separate to that, you can get a personal booking. The reference point I'm seeing is there's some deceptive energy here. Now, could this be on their side of the fence? Yes, it could be. They're dealing with an individual in a circumstance where they feel this person's a bit shifty and they're having to take quite a tactical approach. There could be a lot of expectations that are placed on them. There could be a lot of points where this person, they feel this person is quite two-faced at times. So I feel they're intuitive enough to know about this. And I do see there is something that's wrapping up, and they are coming in as the King of Swords. They are maybe at times being a little bit too fair to these individuals, but they also could be seeking maybe professional advice to get a divorce or cut a situation off or take this to a higher level. And I'm hearing the term cruel to be kind, so it does feel like a cutting off. Yeah, they well and truly, even if they're trying to go into denial that a circumstance isn't working for them, I kind of feel this is that pivotal point with the eclipse that's saying, are you really sure about that? Or we're just going to amplify the intensity to 10 so that you can actually be the magician for your outcome and bring your best power back. But this is actually giving divine masculine's power back. Divine feminine, on the other hand, you've got to be really careful with these transits. Now, I'm seeing mental entanglement, to do with this. Sometimes self-sabotage can come through with our mind. Our mind can tell us various stories. Our mind, there's a difference between your instincts, which we do feel from an ego point of view. If our instincts told us we wouldn't get hurt, and it's impossible really not to get hurt. I went down that rabbit hole many, many times. This also can be some shadow work that you're doing. It can be some psychic downloads. But mentally, if you get very clear, I do think don't go down the rabbit hole with the stories you tell, because some wounds can really be triggered with these transits. And it is saying it can be a mind over matter situation. I do feel psychologically you'll always know if this person has transformed and they're ready, and you can take, it was really coming through in the joint connection. It's almost like you're going to go at the pace you feel is okay for you, even though spiritually you might be feeling, gosh, it's taken so long. Can we just move ahead with our spiritual planes, wherever you are, whatever wave you are on the path? What I'm getting here is intellectually, sometimes our mind is our mental imprisonment zone, and we do need to really be careful how we utilize it. If you're going back into your, record sort of thing of the path and you're feeling weary, the joint connection is showing that you've already kind of made a statement. Although you want it to come in right today and you want it to be hunky-dory and peachy, what you are emotionally coming through in the read and saying is, I'm going to really pace myself because I don't want to put a foot wrong. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I want to protect my temple. I want to protect my life moving forward. There's something spiritual you have learned, and so you're moving into that kind of protective mode. You're moving into the warrior princess energy. You do have power. Use your intuition. Trust your instincts. Go at the pace you feel fit. If you want to slow down, slow down. Ask questions. Yeah, who you were in the past is not who you are today. And sometimes we compare that. We're like, oh my God, I fell for everything. I literally fell for everything. I didn't even see things coming. I was blindsided. And I think every single one of us on this journey have had that experience happen. So spiritually in the heart space, you do feel out of sync. You're like almost wanting it, but again, kind of spiritually protecting yourself. Okay, confidence is going to increase. This more than likely can be the Aries energy coming up. I also feel there can be some options that are coming through, and this can be blasts from the past. This is quite a common signature prior to reconciliation. There also could be a situation that crops up from the past, a spiritual test as per se. Could that be for those of you in the connection? Yes, it can be. But again, I feel this is more collective energy. Oh, okay. Yeah, divine feminine is like, look, if there is some BS happening here and this karmic cycle's not wrapping up, I do see a spiritual separation. I do see it's almost like I'm hearing karma is being served, but that's not in a negative way. It's like it's an ending of a cycle. I feel just as you're spiritually ready to enter back into the world, to be social, to go back on the market or do something to that degree, they're also referencing a party. This could be Easter. This could be. This feels like a celebration date. They always give me this card when it's linked to a physical get together. It could be a christening, a birthday. There's some sort of link of a social event coming, and I feel there's a transition. I do feel it's in between the eclipse. I feel it's in the month of April. This could be something that's coming. This could be that it's physically the person's birthday. Yeah, it's almost like divine feminine's not anticipating this. You're really assessing the risk, and this ruling cast is saying the same thing. It's almost like, am I ready for this? Have I walked up enough mountains? We also intuitively sometimes can get to a space where feeling if we have to go through any more purging, awakening, shadow work, like, do we keep doing this? And it does get different. I'm going to tell you, there are some individuals in the house that are already in reunion, and we can all tell you it does look different. But some of you are like, oh, I think do I? Is this person ever going to be single? Are they going to join with me? Should I stay single? Do I want to go into a relationship? I want to have some fun. I want to be able to be myself. Can I be myself going into this connection? 100%. 100%. Okay, advice. I'm going to get a ruling cast for the advice of how to navigate this. And I'm going to pull a few clarifiers to give you some tips on how to work through this week. It's the next 2 weeks, really. It's probably longer. It'll be the entirety of the month, but you know what I mean, the most intense points and portals. I hope you're finding this informative. I'll be going away and listening later for my own personal advice because the downloads come as they come. Fire and air. It's the Chariot. Okay. And we do have the Chariot here. There is a movement forward. You're going to have courage. You're going to have courage. All right. Okay. So what do we have? Thor, goat, eagle, seeing a perspective. Thursday, fire and air, wheel, the hero's journey. And this is really the Phoenix rising. It's very Scorpionic energy. Wagon, the same root of the Old English word ride and wheel. Moving forward, travel, journey. Wheel pulled by horse by means of progress and process. Sacred journey, spiritual quest. The Chariot, psychic downloads. Okay, so what could we... What you could be worried about is the status quo remaining the same, crisis, rigidity, and wrong actions. Mundane, change of direction, movement, progress, journey, relocation, habit breaking, definitely with first house placement. Esoteric, cosmic order, ritual journey, wisdom quest, personal destiny. They say stuck in a rut. Okay, how many of us have felt in some shape or form, in some location in our twin flame path, there has been stagnation? There's a shake-up in this situation now, both within the twin flame path and our personal lives. When our wagon and wheel is stuck in a rut, we are unable to change direction, and we are going to be required at this time to be flexible. Do I like being flexible? It's a little bit like sitting in a government building. Do you like that? Yes. You know, it's like listening to elevator music, and it's really not the tune you want to listen to. To find a new sense of direction when we don't know which way to turn requires a step into the unknown. We are going to be like the Fool card with Aries. The North American tradition, a warrior would seek inspiration by embarking on a vision or a quest. People had the same traditions by heading off into the unknown with no perceived goals. We place our fate in the laps of the gods. The universe knows us better than we know ourselves. And I've said this 100 times. Many times, a tower moment for me has caused an absolute solution. And I'm going to try and keep remembering that. It was a very difficult lesson to learn. But 9 times out of 10, if I had an obstruction in my path and there was a physical tower moment, it was catastrophe at the time. It was messy. It was diabolical. And then suddenly, as the smoke kind of cleared, there were doors. And I was like, well, I'll be. Is it hard to trust? No, 100%. We have ego involved. We're human beings. I know our true path and will guide us into it if we haven't sufficient faith to relinquish control. We'll still be taken into it. By allowing the universe to place new encounters and new experiences in our path, we make ourselves available for the changes to occur in our lives. If we fail to do so, we risk getting in the wrong direction and Breaking Bad. Yeah, look, I feel it's just breaking a cycle. I feel it's trying to trust the process and it's trying to take us in the new direction. Let's get some clarifiers. Feel free to ask any questions while you're here. I'll answer them free. You know, if you've had any blockages come up or this directly has been a process you've been struggling with, has there been a particular area we've mentioned in the read? I'm all ears. Okay, I'm going to pull 3 cards for advice. They are in a place of power, though. They're moving into a place of power. There is the karmic here. There is tension between these parties. Now, could it be a karmic cycle or a karmic third party? Either or. Cycle coming to a close. Wrap up. Brand new beginnings. Big questions to do with themselves. How they feel about these circumstances. Anyone been struggling with a certain aspect in their life? Who's in the kitchen cleaning their kitchen right now? Depending on where you are in the world. Or are we in bed sipping tea or coffee? PM due dawn in the members. Keep it hush hush. Okay, what do we have? Additional information, please, for the individuals watching the video. It's pretty heavy with her and brutal. Never seen anything like this before. Yeah. Yeah, some panic attacks have been coming through on my end. I think it was about 2 days ago. I cyclically was like, it is way too quiet. Shit is about to go down. And I'm like looking around going, I am not looking forward to this. I'm trying to trust the process. Yeah, I'm trying. It's one of those moments, isn't it? Might need nerve calming energy and something to calm her, reducing the caffeine, maybe reducing any beverages or, things to that degree. Because we've got Pisces involved in the transit, so we can be super sensitive in our aura at the moment to those. Yeah, look, like I said, it's the masculines that are going to experience this. I have seen feminines exhibiting this, and this can be when they're trying to assert their personal power in that placement. And so it is quite vengeful energy. That there can be some, martyrdom going on. There can be some, human rights energy that's coming up. It's like I was the victim and you were the perpetrator. And there's two sides to each story. It can be, but are we right now? Did it happen? Were we? Yes, 100%. And that's what I kept saying to myself. Was I a victim at a point in my life? At points in my life? Yes, I was. But 3 days later, it occurred. At that point, I was. At that point, not only was there the recovery cycle, but there was also this having to be aware that I no longer was, because that was 2 days ago. Now, once I got grounded, what then was I going to do with my future moving forward? It takes a bit of time because we've got to go through those 7 stages of healing. If things are being swept under the carpet, they're going to resurrect themselves during this time. Any Pisces placements next year, especially because it's 12th house, will probably be more difficult for us. At the moment, we've only got 2 placements there. So from our ascension point of view, the reason it's coming up quite heavy at the moment is because we've got Aries and Chiron there and the eclipses in Aries. So our emotions, our home, our family, guilt consciousness, projection, heated situations cropping up, inflammation, past traumas. We're being forced to face our demons and to have courage for new chapters in those areas. So advice, what have we got? Okay, although there were false starts, there can be some doors that are opening. So, accept what was the false start. Spirit is trying to say to me, if there was a delay in maybe a reconciliation, a situation that you're going through in your life right now, they're saying there is a reason. They're saying also that through this process, if there is a delay and you directly are frustrated, Saturn has been quite grueling. It's been causing a lot of issues in our lives. There is going to be a breakthrough with this, but particularly these pressure points can be there. So if there is something that you're wanting to reassess, return to, especially if it's your twin flame path, look to the past and leave the past in the past. In the here and now, there can be some shadow work both parties are doing. Your heart space is the magician. The heart chakra is going to be healing. We do have the power within us to transcend and move beyond this. A tower moment may create the star, but you can be looking at it that is impossible. So disillusionment, it can be possible. Some of you are going to step back and you're going to take a little bit of time in hermit mode. You may be trusting your instincts and your guides at this point in time. It could be that you feel all of a sudden, like, I don't want to go in here. I don't want to be in this environment. And look, it could be you're walking into a shopping center and your intuition is saying, I don't feel right now. I think I might leave from here. Just try and trust your instincts. If you do need to retreat back, have a bit of time. If you're worried you're going to be projecting at individuals, Mercury retrograde is going to be happening through the month in Aries. You could be going, you might want to dig your heels in and go, look, I'll just go hide for a month, but do the work. Don't intuition wise, you can be thinking quite a lot. You can be getting a lot of ideas. You might want to keep some of your cards close to your chest for your new chapters. However, what I do see is some of you also may be meeting with this individual and, give them some space. If you are directly in communication with this person and they're projectile vomiting at you or getting quite triggered, don't own it. Protect your aura. Do an aura upgrade. Use crystals. It's funny, I've definitely got these crystals here. And if you are supporting an individual or want to do remote healing on that person, always do it away from the eclipse. Make sure you're grounded first, and you can do some remote healing on them on any blockages you're psychically picking up on. If you need help with that, you can book a reading with me and I can give you a hand with it. But you can do some remote healing on them. But you first and foremost do want to have your aura intact, and we are moving into an eclipse. So I do see this Hermit energy is going to be temporary. I do feel it's going to serve a purpose. If you do need to go into your minds, and both of you are kind of sharing it, also feel time at a private space is going to be met. For some of you, it can be that you're meeting in a very private space. This could be of the evening. It could be going into hermit mode with this individual. It could be a retreat of some description, but I feel there's possibility of a meetup here, and it's going to be quiet. This person also can be a lot quieter, and their tone can be transforming and changing how they're directly communicating with you, I would say, within the next week. Yeah, trigger points. The stress points aren't about you, Divine Feminine. There is a left and right here. There is a big change. Some stress points coming up in this individual. If any of you have asked when they can choose themselves, this eclipse is going to do it. Any questions before I love you and leave you? I can't wait to check in with this next week and see how it's going. Are we going to make it through this eclipse? What are our predictions? Anyone worried about it? Anyone excited? Are you feeling liberated, like you're going to make a bold change? I had the coffee there the whole time. I've been drinking so much water. I feel like I just want to swim in the swimming pool and drink it, providing it's fresh water. How are you doing, Twin Flame Love Potions? Are you okay? We do tomorrow have super chats if you guys want to come through and join us. It is to the public. You can ask any question. It doesn't have to be Twin Flame Path. I do cover astrology, so whatever you want me to cover. Bless. She must be really struggling. The chat's so slow today, don't you think? Is it because it's coming through slow, or is it just everyone's listening? I will need to. Surely will. Can't wait to chat. Angela, help me with my chickens. I'll keep it all private. It's time. Look, I did say to you 2025 is going to be very big for you. Very, very big. But already, because you've got those heavy planets, you know, there is big transitions. Definitely big transitions. So, you know, we shall talk about it. If any of you do want a private booking, the link is directly below. You can also come through if you wish to and join our super chats for tomorrow. I have put them on Premiere. So if you do come through, all the links required are connected to the video. Look in the chat and you will get all the information of what you need to do to join. Otherwise, click the bell on that video and I will see you tomorrow morning, Green's Mansion time, Tuesday, Monday. It's Monday. Take care.